Hi everyone, welcome back to Rachel Pichler Yoga. Day 23, and we are going to get a nice stretch for our lower body. So find a little bit of space to move and let's get started. All right, so we are going to start sitting down and try something a little different. So some of you are familiar with, or you all should be familiar with pigeon, but we're going to try double pigeon. So you're just going to take, let's say the right leg, and bring it down and think about bringing your shin parallel to the top of your mat or parallel to you. And then you're going to take your other leg and you're actually going to bring it on top. So see if you can bring your foot right on top of that right knee and then see what happens with that left side. So some people are going to be like this. That's okay. I'll give you an option in a second. Some people are going to be able to have the foot on top of the knee and then the other knee on top of the other foot and both shins parallel. So we're not sitting cross-legged. We're sitting in a double pigeon with our shins ideally parallel to the top of the mat. So again, you might be up here. That's okay as long as there's no discomfort in the knee. But if there is, you can just kind of relax that leg. Let's think about just one leg. You can even send that left leg out to the side and think about just that right leg. So either one leg or both. You make that call. We're just going to take a few moments here. The thing I like about double pigeon is it gets into your glutes, or at least it gets into my glutes. I know we're all different, but if you're able to add a little forward fold, feel how that feels. Nice. And then we're just going to swap sides. So take that left leg, again, either working with one leg and just bringing that shin parallel. You can still add a little forward fold. You can find what feels right for you by playing with it. Maybe that right leg's bent in. Maybe you're able to bring your foot on top of your knee and then both of your shins parallel to the top of your mat. Adding a little forward fold or a lot. This feels really good for me right now. I hope it feels good for you too. But remember to be nice to your knees. Awesome work. All right. So let's start to come back up. We can uncross our legs, unwind the legs. We'll come over onto our hands and onto our knees and find a lunge. So we're going to bring the right foot forwards to start. And your hands can be on the mat, but I want you to just check a few things because we're going to spend a bit of time here. That your knee is right over top of your ankle or your ankle is right under top of your knee. So if you're back here, let's bring it forward. If you're up here, let's pull it back. All right, and then from there to find that hip flexor shouldn't be too hard, but you can always stagger this back leg back and forwards. But again, shouldn't be too hard to find the hip flexor. Hopefully, unless you're super flexible. But the hands can stay down. We're going to pulse a little bit here. We're going to send the hips back and forwards a little bit. So you can have your hands wherever you want them, on the knee or on the floor. But as we're here in this lunge, I want you feeling that left hip. And then as you push back, that should be a break for you. So you should hopefully get a little release of the stretch. And as we come forwards, you should find it again. So we're going to do that again. We're just going to pulse a little bit to get a little further into that hip. So each time you come forward, go until you find the stretch and that it's a good stretch. And then you can hold it for a moment and then send it back a little bit. Awesome, you guys. Okay, we're going to do that one more time and then we're going to hold the lunge. We're going to hold the stretch. So once you come back, take just a few breaths here. Let gravity just take those hips, pull them down, pull them forwards, and relax a little bit. If you're holding your upper body up with the floor with your knee, let's let it go. Let's let the upper body be so heavy. Nice. Okay, let's let it go. Hands can come down and really, for real, send the hips back to release that hip flexor and let's move that stretch into the back of the front leg. So a half split. We're again going to pulse it out a little bit. So you're going to straighten the leg and even flex the foot if you can, and then bend the knee and drop the toes down. So not quite all the way into a lunge, but maybe you're getting into that left hip as well. But let's think about that right hamstring and calf. So pull the toes back as you straighten, and then drop the toes down as you bend the knee. All right, one more time to bend the knee, drop the toes, and then we're going to send it back. We're going to straighten that front leg a little bit more, and we're going to hold it here in our half split. So you could drop your chest. You could stay lifted, wherever you need to be to feel the calf, to feel the hamstring. Awesome work, you guys. All right, we're going to get a little weird here. So let's bend back into the front knee. Drop your toes down. We're going to tuck our back toes under. We're going to pop up onto our back foot. Graceful, maybe not. Try it. Bring your back foot to the mat. So if you need to come all the way to standing to adjust, you can. But I want you to forward fold. Getting into that hamstring in the back of that front leg again. Similar to that half split. So drop the chest. You can come halfway. You can come all the way. Maybe your hands are resting on something or the floor. But let's get a nice stretch to the back of this front leg. Nice work, you guys. So just another breath here. And then using an inhale, we're just going to look forward a little bit and exhale. Bring your back foot up to the top of your mat. So you might be standing all the way up. Whatever you need to do to bring your back foot up so it's next to that front foot. So we're going to stay in a forward fold. You can have nice bent knees. You can have straight legs, but we're going to bend our left knee. We're going to bend it like we want to bring the thigh or the quad to the chest, and we're going to straighten the right leg. So thinking more about getting a stretch through the right leg and letting the left leg just kind of help us stay balanced and supported. Awesome, you guys. So we're going to switch sides. We're going to straighten the left leg and then bend the right knee quite a bit. Fold forward. Feel the length of the back of that left side. Let the chest be heavy. Nice job. So starting to straighten that right leg again. We will be stepping the right foot back and setting up that pyramid stance on the other side. So we're going to work in the opposite direction for this left side. So if you need to come up to adjust your stance, please do. We're going for a nice, fairly straight leg on that left side this time. Your hands can stay on your hips, or you can keep going, folding, getting into that hamstring. Feeling your breath wherever you are. Awesome work, you guys. All right, so we have to get back into our lunge from here. So how is that going to look? Is it going to be graceful? Is it going to be a little awkward? Probably awkward, but take that back knee, lower it down, and then let's adjust that front foot. So we won't start in the lunge. We'll start in the half splits. So send the hips back just enough to find the length through that front leg, and then we're going to pulse it out. So bend the knee, drop the toes, send it back as you straighten the leg, and pull the toes towards the forehead. So release, and then pull it back. Straighten and flex that foot. Awesome, you guys. Just move at your own pace. We pulse it out a few times just to warm up, loosen up, and then make that longer hold a lot nicer. Awesome work. So come back into the lunge one more, drop those toes, and then stay in your half split for a moment. Drop the chest if you need more. Maybe flex your foot, maybe relax your foot. Whatever gives you the best stretch to that calf and through that hamstring. Awesome job. So using an inhale, we can bring it back into the lunge. So let's take a moment to make sure that our knee and our ankle are stacking on top of each other. Let's find that right hip flexor before we start to move at all. So stagger that back knee if you need to, and then decide if you want your hands on the mat or on the knee. So we can start to pulse it out. Send the hips back a bit and then bring them forward, and try to find that hip flexor as you bring them forward before you push it back, and just move at your own pace. Only you can feel what's going on in your hips. Nice work. So do that again. Do another pulse. Send those hips forwards. One more. And then we can hold it in that nice deep lunge. Remembering that if you're taking a lot of weight into the hands and the arms, see what happens when you let everything be heavy and you go a lot deeper into that hip. By finding what's right for you, where you're still able to keep your breath nice and soft. Awesome job. Gently, gently, let's bring the hands down, and we'll slide that front leg back in. So we're going to bring our knees out nice and wide. Big toes can touch to start. Let's sit on the heels and then drop it down into child's pose. So some people get a nice hip stretch in child's pose. If that's you, great, you're in the right place. If you don't, you just want to bring your feet out a little wider. But we're still sending the hips back towards the heels. So feeling those hips as you send your hips back towards your heels. Take one last breath here. And then you can start to slide, creep, crawl forwards. So we're going to lay on our stomach. I'm going to get a little weird again. So we're going to bring our left knee out to the side. Half frog leg. So I want you to think about your hips for a moment, and I want your hips and ideally your inner thigh to be glued to the mat or to the floor, whatever you're laying on. So if you're starting to lift the hip, that left one maybe a bit, you're just going to stay here with the knee bent, half a frog leg. You can rest your chest, your head, whatever. But if you feel like you want a little more, you can start to find a straight leg. You can start to find a straight leg, and you can walk that foot all the way up towards your head. But thinking about the inner leg, the inner thigh, even the calf, and that left hip, and think about gluing them to the mat. And then we can just rest the chest and the head. And if you can maybe grab your big toe, you could try that. Nice work. So we will just switch sides. I'm pretty comfy though. But we'll start to switch. So bend or bring that leg back in gracefully. Pull that leg in. And then let's switch sides. So I'll just turn around so that you can see. But we know where we're going, I'm sure. So that right knee's going to come out. Half a frog leg, thinking about keeping the inner thigh and the hips glued to that mat. Maybe extending the leg a little bit more, walking that foot up, doing some sort of weird angle split. But really only going as far as you need to feel something. Oh, and then if you're able to grab your big toe, you could try it. if you want to get fancy. And yet again, I don't know why I'm getting so comfy in this position, but we're going to move before I fall asleep. So bring your leg back in. You can push yourself all the way back up. We'll find a nice comfy seated position. Bring the soles of your feet together though, and let your knees come out wide. Bringing your hands to your knees. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale. Fold forward if you'd like to fold forward. A little butterfly to finish off today. Actually, you know what, you guys? This just came to me. We're going to get weird just one more time. If you're in the butterfly, if you're folding forward, you could always stay. But we're going to give our toes a little bit of attention. So you can come back up. Sit cross-legged, however's comfy. And we're going to be sliding our fingers in between each and every toe. So you can just bring it in. Slide your fingers between your toes as much as you can. Again, giving our toes a little bit of a stretch here. So once you've got your fingers stuck between your toes, hope you're feeling something. Maybe you've got really flexible toes. Some are a little tighter than others for me, but once you've got it, stay. Take your left hand or whatever hand is free to your knee. And then let's just sit tall and close our eyes for a second. And then you can gently push your fingers between your toes a little more if you need to. Just notice what it feels like. Play with it, move a little bit if you want. Kind of feels good. And then let's switch sides. Let it go, let it go. Some different things today. I do this occasionally, but stick every finger between every toe. Shove them in there. Find that stretch. And I'm sure there's some of you out there that don't feel much. And I'm sure there's some of you out there that have a really hard time sliding your fingers between your toes. And some of us are somewhere in between. But let's just go with it. Again, if you're able to close your eyes, go for it. Sit a little taller and just breathe. Awesome work. All right, let it go. Maybe next time we'll do both feet at the same time. All right, sit cross-legged, get comfy, whatever that looks like. Relax your toes. Take your fingers out of them. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Awesome work today, you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.